So you fell off your bike and scraped your knee, or you tripped over the sidewalk and scraped your elbow, or your kid fell off their skateboard and scraped themselves. Well, with this abrasion, you probably got up, wiped off the tears, washed the wound off, threw some Neosporin on it, maybe some hydrogen peroxide, slapped on a dressing, and then at some point, you took that dressing off so the wound could breathe. Well, that last part, that's the mistake. And it's not your fault. It's what every coach, parent, and teacher has told us for years, maybe even doctors. But the science has settled it over 6 decades ago, and that's that wounds don't need to breathe. Well, we're going to explain not only how to take care of an abrasion and how that heals, but I'm going to tell you the best dressings that you need to keep at home to help that healing. All right, let's get to it. Welcome back to Citizen Surgeon. Today we're talking about wound healing, and we're going to focus on abrasions. And throughout this video, I'm going to show you how you can best care for an abrasion and some of the best products that you should keep at home to help with that healing. I'm going to go through the science of wound healing and, of course, what not to do. So that's critically important. If you want to skip ahead to that, you can check out the different chapters, but I urge you to just stick with me so I can tell you what an abrasion is, how it heals, and how we can get it to heal the safest and the fastest. Okay, so let's get to that whole let it breathe thing. What is that all about? Well, in 1962, a British researcher named Dr. George Winter aimed to flip dogma on its head. He was studying wound healing in pigs and comparing wounds that were open to air versus wounds that were kept in a moist environment. And what did he find? He found that wounds kept in a moist environment healed twice as fast as wounds that dried out and were kept open to air. And this was over 6 decades ago. Yet we still think and we still practice that wounds need to breathe. That just isn't the case. The research that Dr. Winter did, demonstrating that wound healing is dramatically faster in moist environments, kicked off an entire industry and fields of research in wound healing. Since then, decades of research have confirmed the same findings. So, in plain English, how does the biology work? Well, when you injure yourself, specifically with an abrasion, and we have scraped off that superficial epidermis, the body heals by sending new cells, new epidermal cells, crawling across the wound. Think of them like workers laying a new tile floor. And in order to do it, they need to lay down those new cells in a moist environment. In a dry environment, when a scab forms or a thick eschar, those healing cells need to dig deeper to find moisture and lay down that new layer of epidermis. Now, this dramatically delays the wound healing, and in fact, multiple clinical studies have shown that if a wound dries out, its time to healing is 50% slower than a wound in a moist environment. There's another thing that the old advice gets wrong, and that's that air prevents infection. In fact, when studies compare occlusive dressings, so dressings covering a wound, to wounds in open air, the covered wounds heal much better with a dramatically decreased risk of getting infected. Moist environment, we have faster healing, less painful, better scar. Dry environment, more painful, slower healing, worse scar. The science isn't debating anymore. This is just a fact of healing biology. Before I tell you what you need to use to heal this abrasion, let's clear out the medicine cabinet of things that are probably working against you. So first is hydrogen peroxide. I remember when I was a kid, Mom used to pour hydrogen peroxide and I'd watch it bubble and fizz, and we would both look at it and say, oh, look at all the bacteria that are being killed. Well, those oxygen-free radicals are not only eliminating bacteria, but they're also annihilating all of those workers that are laying down the new tile or the new epidermis. And hydrogen peroxide, in that oxidation reaction, actually delays healing and disrupts the wound healing bed. So take that big bottle of hydrogen peroxide and use it for cleaning your shoes or bleaching your clothes or something, but don't use it for wound healing. The second thing you could take out of your cabinet, at least for a primary dressing, is dry gauze. So if we have a big abrasion, we put a piece of dry gauze on there. When we take that dressing off, not only does it hurt, it disrupts the wound bed. And we don't want to disrupt those nice healing cells that are laying down that new epidermis. That's largely why in the hospital we've gotten away from using dry gauze, because it's just not an effective primary dressing for most wounds. When will I use it? I will use it to support a primary dressing. If I need a few layers of protection to cushion that area, when I already have a hydrocolloid or a foam or an alginate dressing on the wound, I might use a couple of pieces of gauze to support it, but certainly not as a primary dressing, either as a dry to dry dressing or as a wet to dry dressing. We know that gauze can impede wound healing by disrupting that very fragile wound bed. And lastly, here's the surprising one: your reflex use of Neosporin or triple antibiotic ointment. Well, the studies have shown that the antibiotic part of the ointment really doesn't help. It doesn't do anything. And in fact, may lead to increased contact dermatitis. You're better off protecting that wound bed with some Aquaphor or Vaseline that's going to keep that wound bed moist and protected and keep it from drying out. You probably don't need the Neosporin, the bacitracin, or the triple antibiotic ointment. Okay, so the three things I want you to maybe, not take out of your cabinet, but have for a different use would be, number one, take out the hydrogen peroxide. Don't use that on your wounds. Number two is dry gauze, at least for a primary dressing. Sometimes it can be good for support. And the reflex use of a triple antibiotic ointment. I would go to moving towards something like Aquaphor or Vaseline. That gives you a protective layer for the wound bed, but doesn't have the antibiotic in it, because I don't think that the antibiotics are really doing any good. Okay, so what should we do? What should we use? Well, all right, here's your practical guide. I'm going to do this in 3 tiers based on what you probably already have in your cabinet or that you could easily get. First is tier 1, and that's when we have an abrasion, we want to clean that off. Warm soapy water, nothing fancy, just get the debris, the dirt, the foreign bodies out of the wound. If it bleeds a little bit, that's okay. That's kind of what we expect with an abrasion. Then we want to put a thin layer of a plain petroleum jelly, Aquaphor, Vaseline, just over the top of that wound bed, and that's going to assist in keeping that wound bed moist. Then a self-adhering non-stick dressing, a Band-Aid or something like that. There's a bunch of different products out there. Just something simple that's going to give that wound bed some coverage, an occlusive dressing that's going to assist in the healing and decrease infection risk. So this setup, the tier 1 setup for abrasions, is very easy. Soap and water to clean the wound, get the foreign body out, petroleum jelly like Vaseline or Aquaphor, and then a Band-Aid or a non-stick dressing, covering of the wound, get that wound occlusive. That is going to increase healing and decrease infection rates. We just want to clean and dress this once daily until we have adequate wound healing. Tier 2, this is kind of the upgraded dressing. And I would highly recommend that you get some of these dressings in your home and put them in your first aid kit. And that is the hydrocolloid dressings. Now, I've talked about this before in my best dressings video, but what does a hydrocolloid do? When you have the moisture in the fluid that's released from the wound bed, that is going to interact with a hydrocolloid dressing to form a gel. And that gel is going to assist in wound healing. So Band-Aid puts out a Hydroseal product. Nexcare also puts out a nice hydrocolloid product, easy to get. It basically any of the big supermarkets, CVS, anything like that, and that will assist in wound healing. So the nice thing about these hydrocolloid dressings is that as that moisture is being released from the wound bed and they form that thick gel, these dressings can be left in place for up to 5 to 7 days. Okay, so if you want to set it and forget it, I'm thought of Ron Popeil and the food dehydrator, you can set and forget a hydrocolloid dressing in a well-cleaned wound as you're going to form that kind of white, cloudy layer under the wound, and that's the hydrocolloid gel doing its job, and that's going to lead to a bit faster healing. So that is the Tier 2 upgrade. Cleaning the wound, maybe a little layer of petroleum jelly and a hydrocolloid dressing that, as long as there's no red flags, and I'm going to talk about those in a minute, we could leave in place for 5 to 7 days as the wound is healing. Now, Tier 3, this is for the active person or perhaps wound beds that are a little bit larger, like a pretty big scrape on the arm or leg or even the torso, okay? And these are transparent film dressings. Now, transparent film dressings, they allow breathability across that surface to oxygen and carbon dioxide, but they're not permeable to bacteria. So they are an occlusive type of dressing to bacteria that keep that wound bed safe, but they allow gas to be transmitted across that film. Okay. In addition, you're able to see through the dressing so you can monitor the healing. We use these often over surgical wounds or even IV sites as they're transparent and we can see the wound. And of course, because these don't have a layer of foam or the hydrocolloid that can turn into the gel, they don't tolerate wounds with a lot of exudate or a lot of drainage. So if we have a simple abrasion that we cleaned off, it's not draining very much, or if we have a laceration that's come together with a suture or perhaps one of the butterfly dressings, that would be very good for a transparent film dressing like a Tegaderm, and that's one that I definitely keep in my first aid kit. So to recap, we have those 3 tiers. So Tier 1, that's going to be kind of your standard foundational dressing. Soapy water, keep it clean, get the debris out, put a thin layer of petroleum jelly like Vaseline or Aquaphor, cover that up with a Band-Aid or a non-stick dressing. Okay, that's going to create that occlusive environment that stays moist for wound healing. If we want to upgrade that, perhaps we have an abrasion with a little bit more drainage. We don't want it to dry out. That's where we go to Tier 2. Tier 2 are the hydrocolloid dressings. Okay, that would be like Band-Aid Hydroseal or Nexcare Waterproof. These are going to take that exudate or drainage from the wound, create a gel, and they can stay in place for 5 to 7 days as long as there's no red flags. And then Tier 3 is for the more active person. If we have a simple abrasion, even over a large surface area that does not have significant drainage, we could do a transparent film dressing like a Tegaderm over that wound. We'll be able to monitor it, and that wound is going to have effective gas exchange while being occlusive or impermeable to bacteria. Okay, those are your 3 tiers. Now, I'm a doctor, I got to give you some red flags. Okay, so here's what to watch out for when you have a wound. So these red flags are when a wound is no longer a can I manage this at home situation. So one is spreading erythema. If we have increased redness around the wound that is warm and tender to touch, that is not normal, especially if it's progressing and needs medical observation or a professional assessment. And that's a sign of spreading infection and certainly needs a professional assessment. Second would be, streaking redness up the arm. That's a sign of lymphangitis or spreading cellulitis. That also needs attention. Any purulent drainage. So if you have kind of thick yellow, white, green drainage from a wound, that's a sign of infection. That purulent fluid is a bunch of kind of dead healing cells that are kind of super infected with bacteria. That needs to be evaluated. And then if we have delayed wound healing, wounds should be healing within a week or two. And if they're not healing, you could have some problem either in the wound bed or systemically. If you have diabetes or you have poor vascular flow, those can lead to delayed wound healing. So you definitely want a professional in that situation. So spreading erythema around the wound, cellulitis, signs of infection, streaking up the arm, signs of lymphangitis. If we have purulent fluid coming out of the wound, pus coming out of the wound, or if it's been a couple of weeks and we haven't noticed any improvement in that wound. And then, of course, if we have any systemic signs like fever, worsening pain, or systemic unwellness, then we need a professional assessment. So if you have any of those things, don't wait. Go to your doctor or an urgent care to get evaluated. Okay, to recap, in 1962, Dr. Winter flipped wound healing science on his head. He did a study in pigs looking at wound healing in a moist environment versus a dry environment and found out if we let wounds dry out, they are going to have much slower healing. In addition, we've identified that occlusive dressings that protect the wound and keep that fragile wound bed nice and moist, have dramatically improved healing and decreased infection compared to wounds left open to air. I've given you 3 tiers of taking care of that wound, whether it's petroleum jelly in a Band-Aid, hydrocolloid dressings, or transparent film dressings. And we've also talked about what to kind of take out of the medicine cabinet, no longer use on your wound. So hydrogen peroxide, even cleaning wounds with betadine disrupts those healing cells. So just warm soapy water, that's all you need. Second, we want to take dry gauze out. We don't want to use that as the primary dressing for wounds. And then third, remember, just simple petroleum jelly does wonders with keeping that wound bed moist. You might not need that triple antibiotic. All right, well, if you took something out of this today, give it a like, give it a share. I really like talking about wound healing because as a surgeon, I take care of wounds and I make wounds every day. So give it a like, give it a share, turn on your notifications. I've made a bunch of different wound healing videos. You can check out the Wound Healing 101 video. Also, just check out the Wound Healing playlist. I got a bunch of stuff on there that you might find helpful. Until next time, be safe. If you're a student, study hard and leave something in the comments. I want to connect. I want to find out what your questions are. All right, take care. Bye-bye.